Okay, here we go, guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to review some concepts real quick. Go ahead and give you a shot to take that quiz again and then move on. So please title this 7.1 Pythagorean Theorem Reteach, and you do need to put your name on this line. So when you turn this in, I am going to see this and you are going to have your name here. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number one. Example number one is a right triangle, and remember that this is the hypotenuse, and this is always the C value. Remember, I know it's a C value because if I color in my right angle here, and if I draw across from that, I always land on this C value. So what we're going to do is we are going to use Pythagorean theorem, and remember that's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And remember what we are looking for here. We don't know the hypotenuse, so I'm looking for the C value. So we're going to write the leg squared plus the other leg squared, and that's going to equal the C value. And remember, you do not do 5 plus 12. You do 5 times 5, then 12 times 12, then add those numbers together. So it's going to be 25 plus 144, and that's going to equal C squared. So when you add those together, you are going to get 169. And right here, you know you got to take the square root when you have a single number and then a single letter squared in your work. This is when you take the square root. So when we take the square root, we know that C is going to equal 13. So X equals exactly 13 units, and you're going to box that in. Let's go ahead and write down example 2. So go ahead and write this down real quick. Just going to color in my right angle there, and remember, when you draw across from the right angle, you land on the C. This time the C value is given. So if I draw my setup here for the Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to drop in everything I know. I don't know one of the legs. I'll just pretend that's going to be leg A. So A is going to stay. The letter A is going to stay in my work. But I know what the other leg is. The other leg is 40. I also know the C value on this problem. The C value is 50, so I'm going to write 50, and do not forget the little 2. Okay, let's go ahead and clean up what this looks like. Let's do 40 squared, and let's do 50 squared. So I don't know A, so it's going to stay there. 40 times 40 is 1,600. 50 times 50 is 2,500. All right, so remember, we want one letter equal to one number. That's not what's going on right here. We have to make a zero pair with this. So I am going to subtract 1,600 from both sides of the equation. So this actually turns into a zero pair. I can cross that out because that just completely goes away. But remember, we had a squared, and a squared needs to be brought in close right next to the equal sign. Keep your equal signs lined up the best you can. So 2,500 minus 1,600 is 900. And we are almost done. You got a single letter equal to a single number. So all we're going to do is square root both sides. And A is going to equal exactly 30. So X equals 30 for example 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this right here. If you need to pause this video to write this down real quick, then you should probably do that. So pause it right now, and then we're going to go ahead and jump in. Okay, so example 3 through 4, right sides of a triangle. So there's two things that are going on right here. First of all, we have like some missing pieces where we know it forms a right triangle, but we just don't know what the missing piece is. That's the first part of this topic. The last part of the topic is that there's 3 sides given. We just have to figure out which one of them are a right triangle. So let's go ahead and talk about this first scenario. So the first scenario, when a side is missing. What you need to figure out is if it's one of the legs that are missing, or is it the actual hypotenuse that's missing. So over here, I know that this is an A, B, C format. So for my first example, this C is missing. For this next example, C is actually given. One of the legs are missing. We'll just say it's leg B. So B is missing. So you're going to do the same exact process as if we had actually drawn a triangle here. So this is my A squared. So we're going to take 5 squared, my A value, plus B squared, which is 12. And we're going to set it equal to the letter C, because C is missing. We don't know what that is. And then we're just going to go ahead and perform the order of operations. So remember, 25 is this one. 12 times 12 is 144. So this is going to be 25 plus 144, and that's going to equal C squared. When you add those, that is going to be 169. And remember, single number, single letter, you are ready to square root both sides. So 13 is that missing value right there. So we're going to go ahead and plug in a 13 for that. Okay, let's talk about when B is missing. And for this example, I'm going to write underneath here just because I have a little bit more room. All right, so remember, this is my A value. I don't know what my B value is, but I know my C. So let's just plug in everything and just clean up a little equation work here. So 15 squared plus B squared, because, you know, we don't know it. I'm going to draw my equal sign, and then I'm going to put 25 squared. It is super important that you don't lose these little 2's like I just did on that one. Make sure they all have 2's in the first line of your work. All right, here we go. So I am going to do 15 times 15, which is 225, plus B squared. And 25 times 25 is 625. All right, so remember, you need a single letter equaling a single number. I don't have a single letter over here. You got to make a 0 pair. So we're going to subtract 225 from both sides. So B squared is going to equal 400. All right, we're almost ready. We have a single letter and a single number, so it is time to square root both sides. And I just kind of ran out of room again, so I'm writing over there to the right side of my paper. All right, so the square root of that is just 20. So my missing value is 20. Okay, last one. So this down here, guys, this is like a, it's like a true-false question, truly, is what's going on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the A value of all these first numbers. We're going to square them. We're going to take the B value. We're going to square those. And then we're going to add them together. And then we're going to see if it's the square of this last value here. So I'm going to kind of change the way my table looks. I'm going to do 11 times 11, which is 121, plus. Now I'm going to do 60 times 60, which is going to be 3,600. Then I'm going to draw a box. And then I'm going to do 61 times 61, and I don't know that in my head. So let me get my awesome calculator, and 61 times 61 is 3721. I'm kind of writing over my title, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these and compare it to 3721. So 3,600 plus 121, they equal. So if this equals what the C squared is, then this is indeed a right triangle. We like that. All right, let's do it again. So for the 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 times 4 is 16. I'm going to draw my comparison template, my comparison box. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Let's see what's going on with 9 plus 16. I think it's 25. 9 plus 16, yeah, it's 25. So remember, if this equals that, then those are measurements that would form a right triangle. We like that. Okay, let's do it one more time. So this is 6 times 6, 7 times 7,
49. Draw my comparison box, and then 8 times 8, 64. Okay, let's do 36 plus 49. 36 plus 49, that's 85, and that's a 64. So this very last example, those do not equal, so I'm going to write the not equal sign, and those don't form a right triangle. So that's how you do those problems.